enter that hallowed land. Before she got there, though, there was one person she just had to show off her curious, tamed beast to. She picked her way through the maze of back streets, saluting the people she'd known all her life as she passed by on her exotic steed, pretending nothing was at all amiss, carefully steering her fugitive away from the deep, open sewers. As she passed the old convent with the high gates she'd scaled so many times in her childhood, the girls screamed in delight. "Salut!" she yelled. "School will dull your brains. Any girl with an ounce of taste should catch a zebra." The exasperated nuns waved her on, but her old teacher, Sœur Benedicta, pulled her habit over her mouth to conceal a smile. At the Moulin de la Galette, the night was only just over. A skinny girl in a shimmering dress with a pinched face slammed the stage door, her makeup lurid in the morning light. She'd be running to her job at the laundry. A man in an expensive top hat jerked awake in the doorway. He rubbed his eyes, still clearly drunk. Mimi pulled her face at him to exaggerate the surreal sight he was witnessing. She imagined the picture she'd paint of the scene, framed in gold, like the ones she'd seen in the Louvre with Raffi. She'd only be able to outline this one in borrowed coal on the pavement, though, until her 2 jobs at the stables and the laundry earned her enough money to buy colours. Raffi was where he always was, outside his windowless studio room, perched on a crate at a makeshift desk made of bricks and planks, writing on scavenged scraps of paper. She stopped close enough for him to see, but she didn't rouse him from his work. He never heard her coming unless she shouted his name. He was always too absorbed in his writing. Her dear friend since childhood. He wore a tweed cap, like the ones all the would-be writers and intellectuals wore to mark themselves as part of the tribe. He'd found it with Mimi on the ground outside the Moulin de la Galette, and now he was never without it. He was as skinny as everyone in these parts, and his high cheekbones and trimmed beard added to his carefully curated scholarly air, even though he was from the gutters like her. Neither of them intended to stay there, though. They talked into the night about how they would escape these mean back streets. He would be a writer, she a great artist. "Meet Tiff," she called to him, letting go of the reins and presenting herself with open arms. "What the hell?" Raffi grinned as he took in the sight. He didn't look as shocked as he should have. He was used to Mimi and her outlandish surprises. "Short for fugitif, escapee," she said, bowing grandly. "I didn't mean the name. I meant the actual zebra, with you riding it," he laughed. She jumped down, clutching the colourful bridle, as Tiff brayed. "Come and say hello." "No thanks. He looks suspicious enough of me, and that's quite a set of gnashers he just bared. You're the one with a way with horses." "He just senses your fear," she teased. "And he's not mistaken. I'll leave you two to your newfound friendship. You know, we've always wanted to go to the circus. I present our ticket for 2, monsieur." Mimi swept a curtsy. Raffi carefully secured his papers with a stone, jumped up, and kissed her hand. "Then I shall gratefully accept, mademoiselle. We'll leave the carriage and go on foot, I think. The day promises to be lovely." They both looked up at the gathering rain clouds. "Perfect," replied Mimi. "I believe the zebra knows the way." Mimi's senses were firing, committing every single detail to memory. The shabby camels with their flabby humps, the fortune-teller's tent covered in stars like a church basilica, the glint of spangles where the breeze caught the trapeze girls' dressing gowns as they strolled across the grass. "He doesn't take kindly to strangers." "How on earth did you catch him?" the stable boy asked. "I help at the stables in Montmartre. They always ask me to break in the tricky ones." "She does the same with the men, too," laughed Raffi. "Hey!" she thumped her friend. "You must be fast."